Travel consideration provided by.
And this is how we load the mix-ins into Blue Bunny's loaded treats. Who wants to do the...
Oh, me!
Each one is loaded to the last bite.
Mix-in!
Blue Bunny, we make fun.
Honey, I saw your post. For the dancing?
You did?
Yep, those dry, ashy legs. Jergen Shea Butter Lotion will smooth them out.
Silky.
Silky like my mood. See how smooth that is? You gotta make it glide.
And energizing citrus body butter. Jergens.
Thor Love and Thunder.
Happening now.
A familiar sight for residents along Frio City and South Zarzamora. A train stopped on the tracks. What the city is proposing to relieve congestion.
And the drought continues to worsen across South Central Texas. Coming up, we're going to talk about how much rain we would need to ease the drought. I'll have those details in a sizzling hot weekend forecast coming up.
And as temperatures rise, so does your power bill. Coming up, the simple things you can do to save money during this triple-digit heat wave. The news at 5 starts right now. And first at 5, a West Side home that went up in flames overnight is now the subject of a homicide investigation.
This happened at Waverly and North Zarzamora within the last hour. San Antonio police gave us an update on what is next in this investigation.
Our Patty Santos joins us live from Public Safety Headquarters where that update was given. So, Patty, give us the latest.
Yeah, San Antonio police says the preliminary autopsy by the medical examiner showed that there were bullet wounds in the bodies of these two victims. Now, the ME report does not yet say whether these individuals died from those bullet wounds or the fire or perhaps both. But just today, the relatives have identified the victims as Raquel Martinez and Sergio Soto. Police say this has now moved into a homicide investigation and an arson investigation. San Antonio police say they do not have any information to indicate that anyone called overnight to report gunshots in that area. The medical examiner says the victims are a woman in her 50s and a man in his late 30s. Now, police investigators are at the scene. Were at the scene this morning, and they're back in that house looking for more evidence following the information from the preliminary autopsy. Now, it is not common for crime investigators to show up to a deadly house fire, but it appears that there were some clues last night that raised some alarms, and police say they are now talking to neighbors and possibly even looking to see if anyone has video cameras that could help with this investigation. We'll send it back to you.
Patty, thank you. In other news, a traffic trouble spot on the city's south side is now the focus of several public input meetings. So this particular one is near the train tracks on South Zarzamora and Frio City Road. The project has $29 million secured to already address the issue. But here's the question. How? Camelia Juarez shares more about the project and also how you can weigh in.
When the train stops, first thing that goes through my mind is how long am I going to be here?
It's a common problem. Drivers report waiting over half an hour for the train on South Zarzamora and Frio City Road. The City Public Works Department says during peak traffic, the issue can cause 150 cars to pile up. Business owners and commuters we spoke to in the area are looking forward to a crossway, but not the lengthy construction. The city is now asking for public feedback on 5 alternative paths for crossing the tracks.
Physically, do they work? And monetarily, do they make sense? And do they, meet what the goals of the project, which is really this intersection is very unsafe.
People have until July 22nd to make comments online or through open house events. Macbeth says they anticipate to break ground in 2025, but first federal environmental requirements must be finished.
And so we've got to get through that milestone, and then we can start acquiring parcels and right of way so that we can start developing and getting the project ready for bid.
Maria Velasquez, who lives in one of the 16 homes that will likely be affected by construction, says she's grown impatient by the lack of updates from the city.
The waiting has been horrible. And when I have talked to them, I have told them I am elderly, I am sick, I need to know something.
Now you can learn more at the town hall. It's going on right now until 7 o'clock at Nuestra de Guadalupe Church, or you can attend virtually. And here or online, they have more maps or renderings of the bridge. Camelia Juarez, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Camelia. An update now on the Uvalde school shooting investigation. We have learned that Uvalde Police Chief, Ruben Nolasco, has agreed to appear at Monday's committee hearing. A deposition was filed yesterday for his appearance by the Texas House Investigative Committee. They said since June 9th, 36 people have given voluntary testimony except Chief Nolasco. They issued the deposition for Monday, and again, he has agreed to attend.
Now, Governor Greg Abbott is trying to stop people from crossing the border illegally. So today he issued an executive order, and it allows Texas National Guardsmen and DPS troopers to apprehend immigrants who illegally cross the border between ports of entry and also return them to the border. The governor's office says that over the 4th of July holiday weekend, 5,000 migrants were apprehended. You can read the full story at KSAT.com.
With hundreds of migrants arriving from the border every day, the city of San Antonio opening up a new migrant resource center in a former CPS customer service building. The city has seen a flood of migrants traveling legally through our city. And while many have gone straight to the airport, others aren't able to leave right away. And rather than have migrants mill around in Travis Park under the hot summer sun, trying to get help from nonprofits as has been the case, the city's using this building on San Pedro Avenue as a one-stop shop for resources like providing food, getting a ride to a place to stay. But residents in the Shearer Hills Ridgeview neighborhood were surprised to learn about the building's new use. Hear what they have to say coming up at 6.
Now we know the names of more than 40 people who died in a human smuggling incident on the southwest side. Today we know that 49 people have been identified. They include 24 people from Mexico, 19 from Guatemala, and 6 from Honduras. The Bexar County Medical Examiner is still waiting to confirm the 4 other remaining victims. Another 4 people are recovering in San Antonio hospitals, and we have the names of those identified, listed on our website, KSAT.com.
Turning now to the latest in that holiday parade massacre outside of Chicago.
So today we're hearing from the suspect's father and also learning more about the attack. ABC's Morgan Norwood has more from Highland Park.
The father of the 21-year-old charged in the July 4th shooting rampage in Highland Park, Illinois, says he is not culpable in the attack, though he signed a consent form for his son to apply for gun ownership when he was a minor.
This has taken us by complete surprise. 3 days before the 4th, my wife had asked him, hey, do you have any plans for the 4th? And he simply said no.
Authorities say criminal charges could be on the table for Robert Cremo Jr., who sponsored his son Robert Cremo III's application for a gun license before he turned 21, despite a prior suicide attempt and alleged threats to kill his family. He says he doesn't live with his son and claims he was unaware of some of those incidents when he signed that paperwork.
I filled out the consent form to allow my son to go through the process. They do background checks, whatever that entails.
The suspect's father also denies any involvement in his son's weapons purchases, some of which happened after his 21st birthday. Police say the shooting suspect stared down the scope of his high-powered rifle from the rooftop of a building and began firing on the crowd, killing 7 and hurting dozens more, and he left that weapon behind and fled. Aurora police releasing this photo of another rifle that police say was recovered from the suspect's vehicle when he was arrested.
He seriously contemplated using the firearm he had in his vehicle to commit another shooting.
Flowers, cards, candles now lining the street near the parade route as community members remember those who were killed. The director of the U.S. Marshal Service talking with ABC News about the epidemic of violent crime in this country.
If it's causing you not to go shopping, you're a victim of violent crime. If it's caused you not to go to a parade, you've been influenced by violent crime.
The FBI is in this community assisting in the investigation. Police say they're in touch with federal prosecutors about federal charges against the suspect. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Highland Park, Illinois.
The former Minneapolis police officer convicted in the death of George Floyd has been sentenced to additional time in that case. Derek Chauvin was sentenced to 245 months in prison for violating the civil rights of George Floyd. That's a little over 20 years. Now, if you remember, Chauvin pleaded guilty back in December to violating Floyd's civil rights when he kneeled on Floyd's neck during an arrest. Last year, he was sentenced to 22 and a half years on state charges related to Floyd's death. Now, just a reminder, a memorial for a man who drowned at Lake Travis is happening tonight. 33-year-old Roger Mendoza was celebrating the 4th of July with friends. They say that he was swimming in a race, and at some point he went underwater and didn't resurface. Mendoza owned a dance studio in San Antonio.
He's remembered for his love of dancing, and that's where his memorial is happening tonight at 7. The address is there on your screen. People encouraged to wear gym clothes because they want people to dance.
And celebrate him.
Absolutely. Want to make a correction to something I said earlier. I said that Ruben Nolasco was the chief of police for the city of Uvalde. He's actually the sheriff for the county of Uvalde, and he has agreed, again, to testify in front of the State House Committee about the shooting in Uvalde. Wanted to make that clarification before we head to hot, and more hot.
Yeah, that's a good summary right there, Steve. And take a look outside right now. Look at those clouds. They're tiny pancake clouds, okay? They're not developing in the vertical at all. There's no lift for them to produce any kind of rain. So what we're left with is just the heat. 99 degrees outside. It feels like 100. We do have higher humidity, south-southeast winds at 10 miles per hour. Elsewhere, it was 105 in Warren's backyard in Del Rio, 102 in Floresville, 100 in Seguin, and closing into the San Antonio metro area, it was 99 in Bulverde, 102 in Lavernia. We are going to be dangerously hot. Yes, even according to South Central Texas standards, dangerously hot this weekend. I'll have those details for you and talk about how much rain we would need to ease the drought by the end of summer. Steve.
Thank you, Sarah. Turning now to COVID-19 testing, the government allowing people to order a third round of free at-home COVID tests. All you need to do is visit covid.gov/tests. There you can request 8 free antigen tests. They're rapid tests that produce results in around 30 minutes. They'll be delivered by the U.S. Postal Service, will arrive in 2 packages. Shipping is free. Record heat might have you cranking down the AC. That will crank up your electricity bill. So if you're looking for ways to save while still staying cool, we have 12 on your side tips when we come back. So you have some at-home COVID tests, but how long have you had them? And how long are they good for? Alicia Barrera takes us and gives us some reminders for those of you relying at-home tests in order to make sure you're getting the most accurate results.
Yeah. Plus, his execution has been delayed several times, and he's requesting it once more. We're talking about death row inmate Ramiro Gonzalez. He was convicted in 2006 in the murder of an 18-year-old in Bandera County. Why he wants yet another delay and the ruling that was issued today.
And bringing new life to an old rodeo venue. Coming up at 6 p.m., RJ Marquez visits the site of a Southside Charro ranch that's getting a major makeover and will soon be a place for kids in the area to learn more about raising livestock and the South Texas cattle culture. It comes your way tonight at 6.
As if you needed to hear this. I know you've noticed it, but of course your power bill's going up.
Yeah, higher temperatures, higher costs for natural gas, higher rates, they're all adding up. So 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz has simple solutions to make those bills more manageable.
28 days so far of triple-digit heat as your AC working overtime. And that means some scorching power bills. So what can you do to cool your costs? It's obvious, but effective. Experts say adjust your thermostat. CPS Energy recommends 78 degrees. Too warm for you? Even raising it a couple of degrees makes a difference. Even better?
A programmable or smart thermostat can actually lower your heating and cooling bills by as much as 10% per year. Most smart thermostats use Wi-Fi, allowing you to remotely control your heating and cooling from your smartphone.
78 degrees will feel better if you use your ceiling fans.
Ceiling fans not only cost very little to run, but when used with your air conditioning, you can actually raise your thermostat by about 4 degrees and feel just as cool.
Remember, you want your ceiling fan to run counterclockwise in summer. To check the direction, just stand directly under it and look up. It's easier to tell. Simple things can help lower your bill, like keeping your blinds and shades closed during the day, plugging cracks around windows and doors too. Try not to use appliances like the oven or clothes dryer during the hottest part of the day. And that AC, clean or replace your filters once a month. Check more often if you have pets. Your AC accounts for about half of your utility bill. To check your power use by the hour, log into your CPS Energy account and go to My Energy portal. You may be able to pinpoint some other ways to chill your bill. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Your bill. I like that. All right, here's a live cam right now over downtown San Antonio, not too far from Legacy Park, right there on West Houston Street, where from 7 to 9 people are going to be gathering for the Summer Night City Concert Series. Live music outside. Texas Public Radio is going to host it, but I'm looking at the temperatures right there, 101 degrees. Ouch, Sarah.
Ouch is right. And, you know, one of my coworkers reminded me that some school districts are going to start football practice in the next 2 weeks.
Oh.
Wow. I know. So it is going to be hot regardless in the next 2 weeks, but hopefully we can get these temperatures down a little bit by the time those students partake in the heat of the summer. I wanted to talk for a moment about how much rain we would need to ease drought, not necessarily how much rain we would need to end drought, but how much rain would we need to ease drought through the end of September, through the end of summer? Well, around San Antonio, it's almost a whole foot of rain. This goes for Seguin, Floresville, Hondo, Canyon Lake area, Karnes City. We would need a foot nearly of rainfall. Out across the hill country and out west toward Del Rio, we would need just a little bit less, just a little bit more than 11 inches of rainfall. And across our southwestern viewing area, closer to Laredo, you know, only about 7 inches of rainfall because the drought is not as bad further south. But what is the probability of that happening over the summer? Not good. Less than 5%. The one thing that would work in our favor for some healthy rains would be a tropical system. And right now, across the Atlantic basin, there is no chance for development over the next 5 days. So it doesn't look good for rain, at least over the next several days for us. But hey, Atlantic hurricane season actually peaks in September, so it's not totally unusual for us to see not much going on out there. There is a Pacific hurricane, Hurricane Bonnie, which is expected to stay out across the Pacific, not impacting the mainland at all. Rain chances, though, even though we're not going to be seeing healthy rains, we do have a small chance for some stray thunderstorms starting Sunday, picking up to about 20% on Wednesday and Thursday. So again, not a great chance, but a very small chance, and definitely not going to be that drought denting weather and rain that we really need. Right now, all of the rain just going up and over south central Texas. The reason for that is you can guess, we've shown it every day here on KSAT, that heat high just not going anywhere. And in fact, it's going to build over Texas in the coming days. So I've got to caution you, this weekend, the heat is going to be real deal dangerous heat. There is going to be a need for you to stay as cool as possible because look at these highs, 104, 105 on Sunday. We're going to be looking at records likely broken, especially Sunday and Monday. Notice, though, that that heat does come down a bit by Wednesday and Thursday as that heat high moves off. So again, we are used to the heat, but this kind of heat is something to not mess around with. We got up to 100 today. Our average is 94, so we're 6 degrees above where we should be this time of year. A record of 104 set back way in the 1800s. It's still humid outside. We've got dew points in the 60s right now. And so because of that, there's a heat index value during the peak heat of the day, which is right now. So in Bulverde, it feels like 101. It feels like 105 in New Braunfels. It feels like 101 around San Antonio. And it feels like up to 105 in Pleasanton as well. This heat index, where it'll feel a few degrees hotter than the temperature, that's what we're going to be dealing with over the weekend as well when our highs are past 100 degrees. Tonight, after the sun sets at 8:37, it's going to be warm and windy. Temperatures are going to fall into the 80s by midnight with gusts up to about 25 miles per hour. Early tomorrow morning, much of the same, 78 with some clouds out there, and we'll have mostly sunny skies with a high temperature of 102. That heat index is going to feel like 104. It's going to be as hot as early as lunch tomorrow. And then again, dangerous heat over the weekend. It's not so often that we say dangerous heat in San Antonio, but that is the case this weekend with those highs near 105, heat index values even greater.
Sarah, thank you.
All right, if you're a young man who wants to play in the NBA and you don't want to declare right out of high school and you don't want to go to college, there's still options out there.
Yeah, there are. This is kind of a new option they have, and one of the Spurs undrafted rookies is taking advantage of that. When we come back, we'll let you know his story as we get ready for the NBA Summer League games, which start tomorrow, and the 5A state rankings are out in high school football. Who's at the top? Coming up. One of the undrafted rookies they'll be keeping an eye on during the NBA Summer League drafting or Summer League games in Las Vegas is the Spurs undrafted rookie Dominic Barlow. After admitting he did not get that many college offers when he was in high school in New Jersey, Dominic chose a different route to get to the NBA. He signed with Overtime Elite, which is backed by such investors as Amazon's Jeff Bezos, and the goal is to prepare teenagers for the NBA draft with guaranteed six-figure salaries. So after the Ford was named to the 2019-2020 High School Player of the Year. But what was the advantage for him to take this route rather than college?
Just being able to get in the gym 24/7, coaches, there's no restrictions. You know, out in college you have all the restrictions of how many hours you can be in the gym, but we could do whatever we wanted really, and I locked in with the coaches. They came back at night in the morning to get shots with me, work out with me, so I feel like that is what helped me.
All right, after thinking he might go in the second round, did not. Barlow has used that as motivation, pointing to the fact a second-round pick like Nikola Jokic just signed a $270 million contract. That and his 7'3" wingspan and 6'10" forward. But who does he think has the most responsibility for getting him to this point in his desire to play in the NBA?
Probably my mom, really. She's my everything, so being around her, she really helped me a lot. Go through some tough stuff. Obviously go through some great moments too, but she's always been there regardless, and she's going to be there regardless. So having her, that really keep me going. So it's just like I didn't really have like a lot of college offers going into my junior year of high school, so I didn't even know if basketball was like for real, but she kept pushing me, just kept telling me, you know, wait, just keep going, and here I am.
All right, and we probably get to see a lot of him because Sohan is not going to be able to play, and neither is Wieskamp, who will roll his ankle. So there's a look at the games. They start tomorrow against the Cavaliers at 4 p.m. During the night beat last night, we told you who is the highest-ranking team in the San Antonio area in high school football this coming season in Class 6A. Turns out it's the Brennan Bears, who went 13-1 last season with their only loss to Lake Travis in the playoffs in December. They're running the table in the regular season. For that reason, they come in at number 12 in Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine in Class 6A, followed by Steele at 16, Reagan at 36, and Judson at 47. Today is Class 5A, with the Smithson Valley Rangers ranked 14th in Division I after dropping out of Class 6A for the next two seasons. They're going 9-3 last year. And in Division II, the Alamo Heights Mules are also at 14 after going 13-1 last season. The only other team mentioned in the top 25 of Division I and Division II is San Antonio Veterans Memorial. So you see a lot of those teams with those rankings are playing where? The KSAT Pigskin Classic 2022.
Have you already started working on 12's top 12?
Not this early. Give me a little time.
No, I'm just Dave Campbell. I mean, I thought, you know, practice starts in a couple of weeks, Greg.
It sure does.
Just saying.
Thanks for the heads up.
If you want my input.
Always.
We're back in 2 minutes. It's been a pleasure having you with us. Now stay cool. Thank you for watching the news at 5.
We'll see you right back here at 6. World News is next.